Hi everyone, Lenny Moore here. What I'd like to start off with is just a disclaimer. I am not a Pro Tools master. I am not a ninja with Pro Tools. I am a Cubase user generally, but I've been using Pro Tools lately, and I've been dealing with technical issues as far as how software works and technology for over 30 years. And I thought I would start this series of Pro Tools related videos with some basic things that I'm discovering as I'm working with this tool in particular. Things that are a little idiosyncratic, and hopefully these will be helpful for anybody that's trying to find an answer to some of the problems that I've dealt with that I've not been able to easily find an answer to on the web. So the first one I want to talk about is a little clip management within Pro Tools. So just to make sure that we're clear, the version I'm using is version 2020.3.0, and the first thing I noticed is where's the clips? So for those of you who just want to know, where are the clips located? If you look at your main window here, that's your tracking window. In the very bottom corner, there's a little arrow button on the very lowest right corner there. And if you click on that, there's your clips. Amazing. And just for those of you that don't know, if it's in bold like this, that means that's the main track. If it's not in bold, those are little sub clips. So if I had edited something up, then those will show up not in bold. So the bold is the main file, and the rest is just these little audio clips that are a part of that. They all are borrowed from this main file. So what tends to happen is, as you're editing and stuff like that, you start deleting things in the tracking window, but it doesn't get deleted in the clips. It just sits there, and it can really hog your hard drive as far as if you're trying to send a Pro Tools session to somebody else. And that's normally, since I'm a composer, that's normally the kinds of stuff that I deal with, is I'm sending files to somebody else to use. So if I'm dealing with Pro Tools, I'm setting up a Pro Tools template session that they can just import at whatever recording studio I might record at. You know, the file sizes sometimes, especially over the web, depending on your internet speeds, is a big issue. So part of it is I can show you partially the easy way and then the not so easy thing. So as far as just kind of figuring out where is the excess junk in the clips folder. So all you have to do is you just have to hit the little drop down here, this little arrow next to clips. And if you go to select, you can select unused. All right, and I'm on a PC, that's why it says Control-Shift-U is the shortcut key to get to that. On the Mac, it's a different set of control keys. But there are quick keys. So if I do that, it immediately selects all the stuff that's not in my track window that's not being used. And then I could right click on that and hit clear and get rid of that stuff if I wanted to. So that would clean up a little bit of space. But what I want to point out is there's a couple of files, and specifically these are prelay tracks that I created called drums. This one here, this one, and this one. Right, so these three files are the ones I really want to get rid of, because what I'm doing is I've got a real drummer on my Pro Tools session now, so I don't need my prelays anymore if I'm going to send this to a person to overdub a part on. So notice when I hit select unused, those three files aren't selected, and the reason for that is they're being used. And guess where they're being used? They're being used over here, right? But I had disabled those tracks, these three tracks here. They were just sitting kind of out of the way. I didn't want to be looking at them, so I just made them invisible, right? But even if I make them invisible, they're still there, right? And so how do you get rid of that stuff? So if I want to get rid of all three of those tracks, there's a couple of things. One is you might think, hey, let me just go to my tracks and delete those three tracks. If I right click, select them, right click, and then hit delete, it says active clips were found, and do you still want to delete them? Sure, I want to delete them, right? So those are gone. So they're no longer in my track list, right? So that cleans that up. But guess what? They're still in the clip area, which means they're still taking up space, right? As far as being organized and trying to make sure that everything's good. Now, so let me just try this. Now if I hit select unused, now it selects them, right? So it's in that group of everything that I selected. And then I can right click on all that and hit clear and just remove it. And now I'm much cleaner. All right, so it got rid of all the chaff, and now I've got a cleaned up session. If I save that, it's going to be a lot better. And that makes the file size a little smaller when I actually zip this whole thing, this whole session, into a file and upload it over the internet. So that's the main thing I wanted to show you as far as clip management. A lot of it is just kind of knowing where to look. So the first part is going and popping open that clip window, right? And it's that little button right there, that with the arrow and the vertical line, right? So when you pop it, pops open. If you want to close it, you close it that way. It's not like necessarily in the clip window. It's not sitting over here, which is a big pain in the butt. So that's sort of an issue. It's like, where do you find it? And I'm sure that the masterful Ninja Pro Tools users can go, oh, it's just in this other location. I haven't found it yet, right? And granted, I'm not going to pour through, 300 to 600 page manual right now. I'm just trying to use the software with the knowledge that I have on how software generally works. So hopefully this is helpful as far as clip management. Just to recap, pop open that clip window. You can select unused, and right now it shows there's nothing unused. Everything is being used. If there was a hidden track, that would be over here. Like you can see, this A bass prelay is hidden, and then this other reference mix is hidden. But just keep in mind, if you delete your track, if I deleted that A bass track, which is my upright bass prelayed track, same thing. I've already got a real bass player on this, so I don't need that track anymore. So I could sit there and go delete. It says, yeah, I want to delete it. Okay. And now if I go to select unused, there it is. That's the one track right there at the very top. I can click clear, remove, and then that's gone, and save my file. Hopefully that all helps. In other videos in this series, I'll kind of specify like a single issue. That way these videos are sort of short and sweet and quick, and they kind of deal with like a problem or a issue that I think is something to share. Thanks a lot.